Picture the galaxy, a glittering pageant of alien brainiacs preening over their quantum gizmos and bioengineered smoothies. By 2165, they'd mapped every microbe, patented eternal youth, and probably invented self-cleaning socks. Yet, whisper Earth, and they'd clutch their pearls, or whatever passes for pearls on their 16-limbed torsos. Earth, that deathworld dumpster fire, where humans dodge hurricanes, earthquakes, and Monday mornings with a grin. Now zoom to Valthara, a planet so pristine, it makes Eden look like a landfill. Its medical council, a snooty club of alien MDs, had cures for everything, except humility. Their hospital, a chrome-plated temple of tech, where digital screens hum like choirs and holographic diagnostics dance like overpaid ballerinas. Leading this smug parade was Zorath, a Siltharan so tall he probably bumped his head on moons, his bioluminescent veins pulsing with self-righteous glow. Valthara's hospital was a sci-fi wet dream, digital screens flashing vitals like they were stock tickers, holographic patient scans twirling like over-caffeinated figure skaters, and air so sterile you could eat off it. Zorath, the Siltharan skyscraper, strutted through like he'd invented medicine itself, his veins glowing like a nightclub sign. His crew, Varelians emoting through their floating orbs, Lumorians refracting light like living prisms, and Zetharans waving tendrils like they were conducting chaos, followed like disciples. Elise Harper, meanwhile, sashayed in, her figure turning heads and her Earth medkit clanking like a pirate's lute. "Dr. Harper," Zorath drawled, his voice oozing pity. "Try not to bleed your primitive potions on our floors." Elise flashed a smile that could melt titanium. "Noted, Doc Glowworm. I'll keep my voodoo to a minimum." The mission: train Valthara's medics in interspecies care, because humans were now conquered members, and someone had to patch up their reckless hides. The aliens' plan was a masterclass in overkill. Nanobots that rewrote DNA, AI diagnostics that could predict your death to the millisecond, and serums so fancy they probably had their own publicists. Elise, though, had other ideas. She'd stitched soldiers in Earth's war zones, cured fevers with herbs when drones failed, and once MacGyvered a ventilator from a car battery. "Your nanobots are cute," she quipped, eyeing a holographic scan. "But they crash harder than a drunk driver when microbes get creative." Zorath's veins flared like a solar storm. "Our tech is flawless, human. Your herbs are a joke." The council snickered, their digital screens purring with smug data. Elise just shrugged, her curves catching the light as she unpacked her kit. "Joke's on you when your flawless tech farts out." The aliens rolled their orbs, assuming Earth's deathworlder was all talk. But Valthara's pristine air was hiding a nasty secret. A plague, sneaky as a politician's promise, was spreading. Patients started coughing, their vitals spiking on digital screens like a bad horror flick. Zorath's team threw every gadget at it. Nanobots, serums, even a quantum doodad that cost more than a small moon. Nothing worked. The plague laughed at their tech, spreading faster than gossip. Elise, watching from the sidelines, noticed patterns the AI missed, symptoms mimicking Earth's old pandemics, resistant to alien over-engineering. "Hey, Glowworm," she called, holding a vial of Earth concoction. "Your toys are choking. Want to try my caveman juice?" Zorath scoffed, his veins practically screaming. "We don't need your dirt world nonsense." The council nodded, their holographic charts glitching as patience worsened. Elise leaned against a console, her beauty a stark contrast to the panic, and smirked. "Keep praying to your screens, folks. This bug's about to make you eat those words." Valthara's hospital turned into a cosmic soap opera, and the plague was the star villain. Digital screens wailed like banshees, flashing vitals that looked like a stock market crash. Holographic diagnostics spun wildly, spitting errors faster than a tabloid printing lies. Patients hacked up their lungs, and the Council's fancy nanobots. They fizzled like cheap fireworks. Zorath, the Siltharan giant, paced like a caged beast, his veins pulsing like a bad rave. "Deploy the Omega Serum," he roared, as if volume could bully biology. Varelians tweaked their orbs, Lumorians sparkled in panic, and Zetharans waved tendrils like they were flagging a rescue ship. The serum flopped, the plague cackled, and the hospital's sterile air felt like a graveyard. Elise Harper, lounging in a corner, was the only one not sweating bullets, or whatever aliens sweat. Her curves caught the light, her face a masterpiece of calm mischief. "Told you," she said, twirling a syringe like a gunslinger. "Your tech's about as useful as a screen door on a spaceship." Zorath whirled, his height making the room feel like a shoebox. "Silence, human. Your backwater remedies are an insult." Elise's laugh was pure deathworlder sass. "Insult? Nah, I'm just here to save your glowy butts while you worship your crashing AI." Saria, a Varelian with orbs that screamed stress, snapped. "What's your plan, human?" Elise stood, her figure commanding the room, and held up a vial of earth brew, herbs, antibodies, and a dash of human stubbornness. "This," she said, "is what kept Earth kicking when plagues tried to RSVP. It's messy, but it works." Zorath's veins went supernova. "You'd poison us with that filth." Elise grinned, all teeth and charm. "Poison? No, glowworm. This is medicine, deathworld style. Want to bet your fancy hospital on it?" The Council hesitated, holographic charts now a glitchy mess. Patients were dying, and their tech was a bust. Saria, trembling, nodded. "Do it," Zorath roared, but the clock was ticking. Elise sauntered to a lab, her medkit clanking, and started mixing her brew. The aliens watched, torn between scorn and desperation, as digital screens tracked her every move. Could this human bombshell, with her flea market kit and infuriating smirk, outsmart a plague that laughed at their tech? Or was she about to crash and burn, proving Earth's savagery was just hot air? The hospital lab was a war zone, digital screens screaming patient vitals, holographic scans flickering like a bad horror movie. Elise Harper, a vision of curves and confidence, worked like a deathworld alchemist, mixing her earth brew with the precision of a bartender crafting a Molotov cocktail. Her vial, packed with herbs, antibodies, and sheer human spite, bubbled under a jury-rigged scanner. Zorath, the Siltharan skyscraper, loomed over her, his veins pulsing like a strobe light. "This is madness," he bellowed, as if yelling could scare the plague away. Elise didn't look up. "Madness? Nah, glowworm. This is Earth medicine. Messy, ugly, and effective." The aliens, Varelians, Lumorians, Zetharans, crowded the lab, their digital screens tracking Elise's concoction like it was a bomb. Saria, orbs glowing with nervous hope, whispered, "Will it work?" Elise winked, her beauty a beacon in the chaos. "Bet your floating marbles it will." She loaded her brew into injectors, ignoring the Council's gasps. Patients were flatlining, and time was a luxury they didn't have. "Saria, prep the worst cases," Elise barked, striding to the ward. She injected the first patient, a Zetharan whose tendrils were limp. The Council held its breath, holographic vitals flickering. Minutes ticked by, agonizingly slow. Then, a miracle. The Zetharan's vitals stabilized, digital screens flashing green. Gasps echoed. Elise moved like a whirlwind, dosing patients while Zorath gaped, his veins dimming in shock. "Impossible," he muttered. "Improbable," Elise corrected. "But humans don't do impossible." One by one, patients recovered, their coughs fading, vitals soaring on holographic displays. The plague, that smug cosmic jerk, was getting its butt kicked. Elise stood, sweat on her brow, curves catching the light, and grinned. Earth, 1. Plague, 0. The council stared, their tech now glorified wallpaper. Saria's orbs glowed with awe. Zorath, for once, was speechless. Elise had just turned their hospital into her personal stage, and the galaxy's finest were eating crow. Valthara's hospital was quiet, digital screens purring with healthy vitals, holographic scans spinning like they'd won the lottery. The plague was toast, and Dr. Elise Harper, with her killer curves and sharper wit, stood center stage. Zorath, the Siltharan giant, bowed, his veins flickering like a humbled firefly. "Human," he rasped, "your methods defy logic." Lena smirked, tossing her medkit over her shoulder. "Logic's overrated, glowworm. Try grit sometime." Saria, the Varelian, clutched her orbs, eyes starry. "We'll archive your techniques," she said, like Elise's chaos was holy writ. The council, choking on their smugness, added human medicine to their protocols. Valthara's patients lived, thanks to a deathworlder who treated plagues like Tuesday chores. Elise, sipping tea from a chipped mug, just laughed. The galaxy learned. When bugs play dirty, a human medic's the one to call.